So this speaks to the need to really meet our clients' needs as human beings with life that changes over the course of life. Three things to get a handle on all the time when talking about retirement are work, now and later, retirement funding and the known needs, and our realities now and later, because finances and people are all behavioral. And it's important to meet people really as human beings where they are to understand their circumstances and their values and speak to how they're going to take care of themselves now and in the future. And really, retirement can pertain to any conversation you're ever having with a client, as can the need to just take care of yourself. So we've been sitting around, and in that vein, I think it's time to take care of ourselves for a minute. It's not going to take long. If you want to turn your screen off, you can. But I legitimately want you to move and have some joy and have some fun for just a moment. I'm going to teach you the Napoleon Dynamite dance. It's nice to just remember that we're people and at different ages and stages. It's really important to take care of ourselves and be feeding our future selves and all the parts. And that we're not just transactional, we're not a number. And we really just need to be a safe space for our clients to talk about life and align it with really what's going on and any decisions. And so when we're getting into these things like work plans, it's really important to be talking about these details and getting to them, but it's also important to just be people and really relate. So the bottom line with our work is also really knowing that it's feeding us and we're able to save for our future and our now. The 10% rule is really outdated. 15% is the number or higher, as you can see. Since the 1940s, the share of people who earn more than their parents has really steadily been declining. Actually, only half of children earn more of their parents now. So with inflation and healthcare and long-term care costs, a more ingrained savings mentality and a habit is just a baseline is really important to make opportunities and account for social welfare policy in our country. Social Security is meant to cover 40% of our needs in retirement. And Social Security and Medicare are going to be depleted by 2035 unless the government intervenes, which I'm sure they will, but still, it puts things in perspective of what we need to be doing to be taking care of ourselves now for later. And so when we're talking to our clients about work, it's really important to speak to these sorts of numbers and have this literacy for them because retirement investment is a function of savings and risk tolerance and time horizon where we create a diversified portfolio that changes in asset allocation over time and has to factor in taxes and growth and liquidity. And so we need to come up with ways of reaching our clients so that they can really make sense of this. And also understand the need to capitalize on company matching. In lots of conversations that we have, we need to make sure that they are getting this information so that they know about this benefit that they absolutely need to be maximizing in order to maximize their savings. Non-working spouses should take advantage of their ability to save for retirement with their own IRAs. And people need to know that outside of their 401ks, there is a benefit to save more and create a diversified fund. You will notice in this chart that there is no column for hitting it big with GameStop or NVIDIA or Bitcoin. Extra money for, investment in these things is amazing, but people also need to know that on average, people who chase the market make 0.67% less than people who set it and forget it, with smaller adjustments on the way to follow a diversified asset allocation plan that matches their risk and their timeline. So this needs to be a part of our clients' financial literacy, and they really need to understand the need to just chip away and have this be a part of their lifestyle from the beginning. With that said,
One question
please.
that's in the chat. What do the heading columns mean, the 0 to 10 times?
Thank you. The amount of your salary that you're saving at each age. So when we start saving sooner, we can really chip away at this. But when we're going to start saving later, that requires a lot more of our salaries. And it's dipping into your lifestyle and your ability to travel and pay and have opportunities for education and your kids and things like that. So the sooner the better. And it's really 15%. It's not 10% from the get-go. And it's just really important to be talking about these things. So the other important thing to talk about is our quality of life. There are some major social and emotional, things that happen in retirement. And so I'm going to place this survey in the chat. And if everyone could answer for their now, it's unanimous. Can you see that?
Yep.
This is speaking to some major emotional considerations that people in retirement have to encounter and that we have to be mindful of. So I'm going to play a little inspiration in the background of what we're doing. If when you're done, just give me a little hello and I can stop it and I'll tell you the results.
Yeah,
So
you
this
can.
is asking us to create an account.
Oh, it is?
Survey Monkey is?
Yeah. It says you have already, well, for me, it says I have already taken this survey.
That's
Not for
because
me.
you're in the
They wanna
class
create
the
your
other
own.
day. Remember, you can't do that. So your results are already in there from yesterday. Practice.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. If anyone else has problems, tell me. Interrupt.
Yeah. Is
My drop down's showing a bunch of blank options
oh no.
for question one.
Oh, hover over it.
Hover over it and you'll see them. So I can show
I
you what
did
they
hover over it and it wouldn't show them.
Really? Well, do your best. You can skip it if you need to.
If you click in, you'll be able to see it, but it looks like it's white font on white background.
I need to come up with a better survey model, but my share can you see my share?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, now it's back.
And I'm gonna now can you see my screen?
Yeah, go back to slideshow.
Okay.
Oh,
Thanks, guys. Sorry. Okay. Can you see my slideshow?
it's
We can
got
see all of it.
slides on the side, or the things on the side.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you my survey anyway first. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see the survey?
Not yet. No, because you shared your slides.
Okay. Well, then I'll keep with my slide. So people reporting, how happy are you with your current job? Number one. So 17% say, I want this job forever. 21%, I'm rounding, it's not going to add up to 100. 21% say, I love it for now. 33% say, I like it. 17% say, it pays the bills. 8% say, meh. 4% say, I can't stand it. For number two, how confident do you feel in your identity and purpose? 20% say extremely confident, 36% say very, 40% say somewhat, 4% say not so confident. How much are you currently satisfying your social needs? 8% say all, 32% say most, 52% say some, 8% say a few. How would you rate the quality of joyful movement and level of health in your life? 12% say very high quality, 44% say high quality, 28% say neither high nor low quality, and 16% say low quality. Number five, how financially secure do you feel? 20% say extremely confident, 36% say very confident, 44% say somewhat. Number six, are you a creature of habit? How much do you depend on having a routine? 20% say it's extremely valuable, 52% say very valuable, 24% say somewhat, and 4% say not so much. Number seven, how happy are you about the prospect of aging? We've got a bell curve here. No one says it's extremely desirable. 16% say very, 48% say somewhat, and 36% say not at all. So we've got some perspective on our hands to really think about what our clients are facing in retirement. And again, the need to take care of your future self starting now. It's really important.
Hit play from current slide.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Second to the left.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Oh, no. Okay. So I did the wrong thing anyway. Okay. So moving on. So can you see the right one?
It's not big.
You need the swap display.
Yep, swap
Thanks,
display.
guys. I appreciate you.
Here you go.
One day I'm going to be super tech savvy. So making the work years count is really important. So we need to assess if our clients are in tune with working for their elder selves. Per Social Security, about 50% of pre-retirees underestimate their life expectancy by over 5 years. And equity, our home represents 60 to 80% of most older homeowners' total net worth. So this is not a time to be taking a reverse mortgage or a HELOC. And there are some major expenses involved in home ownership, and making sure that they have that expense covered is really important. Along those lines, someone turning 65 has a 70% chance of needing some type of long-term care to attend to their basic life needs like eating and bathing in retirement, and that's important. So having this time to set up accounts with our clients and taking the space to hit up ssa.gov, and one of my favorites is newretirement.com. It's free. And it's a really great way to start getting a handle on what clients might want and need to start planning for their spending now and later, and really give it some perspective. So work energy, working in retirement. So average Social Security age is 67. The average retirement age is 61 because of health, layoffs, or making the decision that it's time to retire. So some people are looking at working in retirement. There are increasingly more work options, but they are health dependent and transportation dependent and technology dependent, schedule dependent. They require varying degrees of certifications, but resources do continue to evolve to help retirees to find these positions. Here's an idea in varying degrees, again, of intensity of time and health and capacity, as well as income potential. And quite frankly, not everyone's happy with these jobs. They might be the bottom end of things. And if we're really being real, age discrimination is a hurdle. According to the AARP, 64% of workers age 40 or older have seen or experienced age discrimination, and unemployment is higher for workers over 55 than for younger years. And we have to just really be able to care for our clients and being able to attend to the capacity that they want and might need to have, because they have varying degrees of physical demand and compensation and accessibility. But it is a balance. Work does bring us livelihood, and it allows people to stay engaged in their purpose. It stimulates the brain and it keeps people in community. There's a lot of great parts, but we can't ignore some of the harder parts too. So we have to think about how we're talking to our clients about who they want to be when they grow up. We all evolve and have different phases and stages. And so supporting their realistic big picture is really important in all the conversations that we have. Oh, sorry, I thought I did the next one. So this is another list of other jobs where, again, it's varying degrees of physicality and time and activity required. I don't want to be a school bus driver, I will tell you that. Knowing the rules of retirement is also really important. There's rules involved when we retire. We think that we're over the rules and that we make the rules, but then that totally changes. And it's really important to know the rules. The 55 rule is that when you're 55 years or older during the calendar year and you lose or leave your job, you can begin taking the distributions from your 401k without a withdrawal penalty. You still have to pay income taxes. So it's important that people know that. RMDs, we all have heard about them, but just to clarify, when you turn 73, you have to begin taking the required minimum distributions out of your pre-tax retirement accounts, such as 401k, TSP, 403b. So our RMDs are taxed as income, and they're calculated by applying a life expectancy factor published by the IRS against what they factored as the ending balance as of December 31st of the prior year. If you are working at 73, you can actually put that off, and you might even be able to combine 401ks into your new one. But again, that's 73 is old. So Roth, there's a lot of talk about Roth IRA conversions. With the Roth, that's a relatively new investment. They do not require RMDs and distributions are not taxed, but there are maximum contributions that you can make, and conversions mean recognizing additional income. So basically the conversion, the strategy is that you are maximizing your tax bracket, but you are incurring income tax. So for many, income taxes are going to go down during retirement. So conversions to a Roth don't necessarily make sense. And Roth accounts have to be open for 5 years or more, and withdrawals before the age of 59 and a half are subject to the 10.5% penalty. So people that retire and are going to wait to take Social Security could have some lower tax moment where this could make sense. People, younger people who are students who are starting a business are having a life moment where their income tax bracket is lower. This could make sense, but for a lot of people, it might not. Just because you hear about it doesn't mean it makes sense to do for you. So annuities are another thing that come up a lot in retirement. People make it sound like annuities are a pension. They are not a pension. They are an insurance product that comes with a lot of risk. Annuities, basically you pay a payment up front over a series of time or all at once, and then you get an income stream back later. However, they can still have RMDs and withdrawals can still be taxed as income. And there are a lot of costs, rights, insurance rates, and benefits that change over the term of the annuity contract. When people are selling these, they're selling things that are suitable, but that doesn't mean fiduciary. So while these instruments might be deemed appropriate for your clients, they're not necessarily in their best interest, and they can have major ramifications on a family and your estate planning. So the first time you see an annuity, don't take it. Encourage your clients to continue to shop around and really compare. Understand all of the fine print to know if it's immediate or if it's deferred, and explicitly understand every single term that I've listed here, because there's a lot of them and they all change and they represent different fees and changing rights and elements of annuities that can be very confusing to people. So contract fees, percentage of premium changes, market value adjustments, transaction fees, surrender charges, interest rates, benefits, the level of risk, these things can all change, and you really need to make sure that you understand the terms and that you're looking at the financial health and the customer reviews of any company to make sure that it's really a decision that a client wants to make, because suitability is not fiduciary. And these are most often not for people who are soon to be or who are currently retired. To be clear, they're really more so for someone who's trying to plan ahead and who has the funding available to do this, because again, they can come with significant expenses and risks and restrictions. So again, read the fine print and check the financial health and customer reviews. I can't stress that enough. So timing is important. With Social Security, the benefits are a formula that's applied to a worker's average monthly earnings throughout their career. On average, women's Social Security is 80% less than men. This is important to understand. Also, when a spouse passes, this benefit's going to go down. So it's really important, once again, to have your clients register at ssa.gov to really have an understanding of what their Social Security benefits are. If you start collecting sooner, the benefits go down. If you start collecting later, the benefits permanently go up. And it's really important for couples to make this decision as a couple, understanding what's going to happen to the wife and understanding that it's not a decision to take lightly. If you're full retirement age, you can get the benefit of Social Security without limiting a limit to your earnings. But if you are before that and are taking Social Security, you can also get yourself in some hot water. So it's just something to really be mindful of, to really make a plan and stick to it, and that you're supporting your clients to do that. So the 7-month rule is when you turn 65, your birthday lasts for 7 months. That's not really true, but it's a good thing to kind of keep in mind of like, why is my 65 birthday 7 months? It's because you just want to remember Medicare. You don't want to get penalized. The 7-month rule is the initial enrollment period, You can sign up for Medicare 3 months before your birth month, during your birth month, or 3 months after. Otherwise, you need to wait for the general enrollment period, which is for only 3 months each year. So you just really want to be careful and again, stay on top of what you're doing with your workforce health plan and how you're doing this. Remember that Medicare costs between $175 and $371 per month, depending on coverage. People can qualify for free or reduced Medicare, but that's not necessarily everyone. And a lot of people also pay an additional premium to get supplemental private insurance called Medigap. So again, Medigap is something that is offered by an insurance company. It's important to just have a handle on the different elements of Medicare. It's not just a one-off thing. There are different parts. And again, Medigap is private. You have to look at the company health and the customer service reviews before really deciding on a policy that offsets the deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurance. And you also want to be, again, very careful about mixing company health plans, Medicare, and Medigap because it can get very messy with co-insurance and you really just don't want to mess with it. It can be a hassle that's not worth it. So it's really important that your clients have a handle on the timing of everything and have a plan and really actually stick to it when it comes to working in retirement and how to support themselves. So a quick dive into long-term care, 70% again of people are going to need it. The average need lasts for about 3 years. The costs can be pretty widespread from about $25,000 for adult daycare or 64,000 to 117,000 per year for assisted living with variety degrees of service and privacy. This is an insurance company offering right now was very popular, but it's been fraught with increasing premiums, expenses, and increasingly limited provisions. They are in less and less markets. So again, you have to look at company health and customer service reviews before recommending any sort of products there. People otherwise need to pay out of pocket, and note that when you're tapping into more of your 401k or IRA, it means higher taxes for the higher withdrawal rates. So it can also mean negotiating with a care facility and even leaving a portion of, or your entire estate to the care facility. So this is a really careful decision that families need to make to support your client. There are $30 billion in benefits that go unused every year. And that's another important factor to recognize. A lot of these things that I've listed are things where people don't realize that they can advocate for themselves. And in the course of coaching, it's really important that we also help people to access resources that they're entitled to and that they know about them. SNAP is absolutely for people who are elderly, as is Medicaid. And there are other programs that will continue to evolve to help people who can't afford retirement. So what's really important? It's really important to just acknowledge people's reality. Are you loving yourself and tuning in with yourself enough right now so that you're really retiring the way that you want to? But what are you doing to stay and be active in your community? Ensuring retirement comes with a lot of transitions. Oops, sorry. And considerations. So caring for yourself now so that you can be the guy that throws off his canes and is dancing around and really able to just appreciate what you've done in your life and accomplished, and your heritage and your legacy is really important. Caring for your elderly self now is critical, and encouraging our clients to do that is really important to meet them again from a place of just humanity. So what's on the bucket list right now and in retirement? Write it out and claim it. What as an individual and as a couple, what's important to accomplish and do during retirement? And as a couple, where are you aligned and where are you legitimately different from your spouse? And where do you have the right to be? I mean, who's dancing and who's fishing? Who's watching Judge Judy? Because all of these things are legitimate part of retirement that people have to acknowledge as well, of how to reconcile those differences and take care of everyone's needs in varying degrees of ages and stages. And when we're in our best health, that's when we're able to make those best decisions and intentions. So for people, what are you going to do when your spouse passes? Are you going to be adequately cared for? Making sure that you're not taking on additional medical debt, making sure that you really do have the savings to take care of yourself after your spouse is gone and when your health is declining is very, very important, as is your estate planning. Ensuring that wills and legal documents are up to date so that people know where they are is critical, especially when it comes to decision making and privacy for your health. It's really important that family members are privy to that and that you do have power of attorney set up so that people can be involved in your care appropriately and not stumbling to react when a surprise happens that no one asks for or anticipated. Probate happens when you don't have these things established and the state steps in and decides what the law says should happen with your estate. It takes time and it takes money that they charge you. My neighbor is a case in point. He passed in his home. His will is not up to date and he lived in a rental home. His stuff has been there for 3 months now. They're still waiting for that to get figured out. So it's really nice to save your family grief and maximize your legacy and just take on that onus right now. The earlier, the better, and all the time is time. There's this other great resource, caringinfo.org, that also helps people in retirement to really understand some resources that are available to you and what all you're putting together. So sorry for going over in my bumbling of slides, but I'm Christine. And yeah, I really think it's important to create these open dialogues and to have people take care of themselves legitimately now and plan for their future, their whole life, because we are an evolution and supporting people with that is really important.
Thank you, Christine. And thank you, everybody who presented today.
Thanks, guys.
Any quick questions for Christine?
Well, I hope it was helpful.
Yeah, there's lots of good comments as you were going.
Okay. Well,
I really liked your engagement, Christine. Got me moving, even though I sit most of the time because of my hip. I can still move the rest of my body.
well, I think in this sort of industry too, it's very serious and busy and there's a lot of time at the computer. So I'm encouraging all of you, to make time to smile and cut up and just be a human being who just is meeting people where they are and creating these conversations because again, there's a lot of numbers, right? There's a lot of things to put together, but we have to be able to just like ask the questions and have the conversations along the way, or it doesn't mean much.
Great.